Hold up.
Anyways, all right. So here's the before and after pictures. I don't have a name for this haircut. Me and my client, we kind of, made this haircut or whatever. But quick plug-in before I get started. Headlines Barbershop. We're in the Tampa Bay area. We have 3 locations. Download the app. Check us out. So let's go ahead and get started. The blade is all the way open. We're gonna kind of start the same way I did the burst fade. If you watched that video, and or the South of France, it's just gonna kind of be like a shadow version, right? Halfway between, I decided to close it halfway, kind of make it a little bit closer. It gives it a little bit more pop, I would say, but it's still like that shadow fade look with a burst fade. This is like a 101 haircut. But the client asked, he kind of had the idea, and we put it together and made it happen. Alright, so the next guideline that we're going to create is going to be with the number 1 guard all the way open. And I'm using the Andes Masters, in case you guys are wondering. And no, I'm not using the fade blade. Everybody keeps commenting fade blade. I don't use the fade blade, I just use the regular Masters. And I do adjust it a little bit closer, not exactly 0 gap, because I don't want to slice somebody's head open, right? Alright, so close the number 1 guard as you get closer to the initial guideline. And then once we get to the number 0 guard, it's like, it starts to take out that line. And, I have it all the way closed. I'm hitting that guideline, but I'll open it up as I go up, right? And like you've seen in all my other videos, I open it a quarter of a way at a time, or like a notch at a time. Open the lever a notch at a time. On the side of the Andes Masters, there's notches, right? If you're using walls, you would, open it a quarter of the way. You can see that guideline is pretty much gone. So let's go ahead and create the next guideline. It's gonna be the number 2 guard all the way open. And all of our guidelines are going to be like a rainbow shape, because we want to keep the darkness in the front hairline. We want to keep the darkness in the back. So this haircut is kind of like a shadow fade, a burst fade, or South of France, comb over pomp, undercut type thing on the top. Then it's like a mohawk in the back. It's crazy. But I think it's a dope look. Alright. So, if you have to go back to the number 1 guard all the way open to take out some bulk, then go ahead and do it. There's the whole trial and error method. You go, even if you have to go back to the number 0 guard, if it's going to take out that bulk, if it's going to make a more fluid fade, why not? So here's the number 1 guard closed. And this is really going to bring the fade together. It's going to complete the fade. If you got to go to the number 0 guard all the way open, halfway open, then do it if it's gonna complete the fade. On everybody's head is a little bit different. It might take some more work, it might take less work to make that fade happen. But that's on you as a barber. That's on you and where you consider detail. I don't know. Alright, so we're about to enter into the number 3 guard all the way closed. As you can see with my other finger, with my other hand, my thumb, I'm holding the top of his hair. I'm kind of keeping it away from the side, and I'm going above the ridge, almost like an undercut, right? So this is a number 4 guard. We're going even higher. We're going past the ridge, but we're not quite cutting the length of his hair on top. So it's like an undercut, but it's still gonna have that bulk above the ridge. It's gonna look disconnected, but it's gonna still have that length on top. So on this side, I'm not really gonna have captions. I'm just gonna, it's pretty much the same steps, just on the other side, right? I'm speeding it up. And I did this haircut once before. This is the second time I do this haircut. And I posted some more pictures of the first one that I did on Instagram. If you want to check it out at Bossio Cuts. BOSSIOCUTS. The brush I'm using is just it's a narrow, soft bristle brush. I like it to be narrow because I can see more of what I'm doing rather than those big fat brushes. It kind of blocks a lot of my view of the hair. And it's a soft bristle, so it's, you know, his skin is not turning red. His scalp isn't turning red because I'm brushing his hair. A lot of you guys use some hard bristle brush. You keep brushing the same section of his scalp, and that stuff starts to hurt, man. Use a soft bristle brush when you're doing fades, especially if it takes you a long time to cut. A lot of people have been asking me, you know, do your masters get hot? Masters get hot. I mean, most clippers get hot. I use a lot of Cool Care. And I've gotten to a routine where I constantly turn off my masters. Like I literally right here I probably turned off my masters in this haircut 100 times. If I'm taking off a guard, my masters are closed. If I start talking to somebody, my masters are off. I'm sorry. If I start brushing, my masters are off when I'm brushing. It's crazy. Like it's just automatic. It's like second nature that I just turn off my masters, and that helps keep my masters cool. I understand. I only have one fading clipper in my arsenal. Like I own more than one, but I only keep one on my station, and I'll cut 20 heads in a day, no problem. They'll heat up a little bit, but it's nothing that Cool Care can't cool down. So, you know, I wouldn't. The machine is worth. I mean, it has its ups and downs, but its pros certainly outweigh its cons. And I've used pretty much every adjustable lever clipper out there, man. And I always seem to go back to the masters. That's a preference thing. Some people go back to the seniors, but I always go back to the masters. The back part is always, you know, the trickiest. You just want to make sure you're going against the grain, and it looks like it's, you know, a nice rainbowish, you know, fade, I guess. That's weird. And you'll see, you know, I go back and I detail. That's one thing I tell you guys in all of my tutorials. In the beginning, it's almost like a rough draft. You know, I go through my steps, I go through my system, and then I'll go back. Once I'm through my system, I go through that system as quickly as possible, and then I'll go back and detail. It's almost like when you're taking a state exam. They tell you, you know, if you're stuck on a question, just skip it, finish the exam, and then go back to the questions that you had to skip, so that you can, you know, finish it, so you can get as much done as possible. It's the most proficient way. That's kind of how I attack my haircuts, if that makes sense. Now, when I like to go to the back and face the back directly towards me, so that I can see if one, you know, if it's even on both sides. Then I'll go back and, you know, I'll make sure that it's even. I started blending the back into the initial fade with a number 6. Then I skip guarded. I went to a number 4. And that, you know, that blended right into the initial fade. So let's go ahead and start doing our scissor work. As you can see, I parted above the ridge. I separated those hairs, and now I'm gonna comb and grab it with my 2 fingers and and cut it down to about finger length. But I'm connecting it, you know, down to the shortest length of the fade. I'm gonna do that all the way around, as you can see. I'm letting the, you know, any disconnection be my guideline, and I just cut it to the length of the shortest part of the disconnection. Now the back part is going to be a little bit more difficult to grab like that, so I just do scissor over comb. And then I'll go back and, you know, scissor over comb and kind of detail that part of the scissor or the cutting. Alright, so you know I did a terrible job with the camera work here. Give me a break, please, because I mean I was the cameraman and the barber in this haircut. But you know, I start off with taking, you know, a piece of the front of the hair. When I part, I don't part any more than an inch of hair together, and I'll cut my initial guideline, and I'll start grabbing from that guideline and making sure that the next strand of hair or section of hair that I grab is even with the previous section of hair that I grabbed. And I'll do that all the way through. You want to pull the hair up as tight as possible. So I'm going with the shape of the head, and I'm grabbing you know, less than an inch of a section of hair in width, and I'm pulling it up. See, my problem at first when I started cutting with scissors was I wasn't pulling the hair tight enough, and what was happening was I was leaving some length, and it always ended up being uneven. Now if you pull it tight enough, you're gonna get an even cut. I had to learn that the hard way. And I'm going with the, you know, the shape of the head, but I'm not quite connecting it to the shortest part of the top of the head. Because remember, I faded above the ridge, but I faded up to a number 4 above the ridge. I'm not gonna connect that length of hair, that long length of hair, into that number 4. It just wouldn't work. It would look like a faux hawk. So it's gonna be like a disconnected, you know, pomp almost, as you can see. But when styled correctly, it looks great. So now I'm using that middle section as my guideline, as you can see. And I'm pulling the hair tight. That's the middle section. So I gotta cut all that off right there. Guys, pull the hair up. Make sure you're getting the full length of the hair, because if you're not, then it's not gonna be even. I'm showing you guys my guideline compared to what I'm gonna cut. There it is, boom. That's the biggest tip I can give you. Make sure you pull the hair so you get the full length of the hair. And you can see when it's styled, it looks dope. Right here I'm cross-checking. So I was taking lateral sections of hair. Now I'm going to take vertical sections of hair so that I can make sure that it's even. That's just called cross-checking. Just making sure that it's even. That's the easiest way I've found to cross-check. And you know, I'll do some more videos on cutting with scissors. Right here I'm going to connect it to the back of the mohawk. The mohawks, or the back part is shorter than the top, because he kind of started growing the back out not too long ago. But we'll try to connect that as much as possible. But I want to leave a little bit of hang time, kind of give a little bit of an undercut look. I think it looks dope that way. Alright, so you guys pretty much know, you know, the basis of lining people up. Don't push back. Use guidelines. I mean, you guys know that I don't zero gap my trimmers. And he likes it lined up in the front. Some people don't. He does. What I'm doing with the brush here is I'm getting, like, you know, little baby hairs, separating them so that I can catch them with the trimmers. This haircut right here is a specialty cut. Now I recommend you charge a little bit more than what you do for just a basic haircut. So, like, for example, if I charge 16 for, you know, a basic haircut, I probably charge 18 to 20 for this haircut right here, because it takes more time, it's more detail, it's a custom cut. And people don't mind spending, you know, 2, 3, 4 extra bucks for a haircut like this. They don't, as an individual. But what you need to understand, let's say you get 30 of these a week, 30 custom or 30 specialty cuts a week, times, you know, let's say you charge three more dollars, times 3, yo, that's $90 a week more in your pocket. I mean, that's what, that's $360 a month more because you charged $3 more for these type of haircuts. A client won't mind, but I mean, as a barber, that's big. That pays a few bills, you know. So keep that in mind. So guys, I started doing Q&A videos. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna, you know, if you comment on these videos, what I'm gonna try to do is select a few of the questions that I get throughout the week or whatever, and I'm gonna answer those questions in my Q&A videos. Because the problem is I'm getting too many comments. I'm getting people hitting me up on Instagram, on Facebook, on everywhere, and it's getting hard for me to keep up with everything that's going on. I just opened up another barbershop. That's taking up a lot of my time, and it's going really well, by the way. So I'm gonna do the Q&A videos to do as much as possible, as efficiently as possible. And by the way, I got something dope coming out. If you're interested in finding out how to open up a successful barbershop, the things to look for, you know, all the experience, and I'm, you know, 6 years of experience opening, you know, 3 locations, successful locations. I mean, we have barbershops with, you know, 10 or 12 barbers, 8 barbers in them, and doing really well, you know. And if you want more information on that, I got something coming out, a video coming out, really dope. Me and my business partner, we worked on it. We spent a lot of time on it. If that's something that you guys want to see, be on the lookout for that, because I will be dropping that very soon. And I'll go into detail a little bit more later. I just want you guys to know that that's coming, and it's gonna be dope. It's, you know, we put a lot of time and a lot of, you know, effort, and put a lot of information, a lot of golden nuggets into that. So be on the lookout for that, guys. So yeah, this haircut is different, man. It is, but I think it's a dope cut. I'm doing my eyebrows. I like to keep my eyebrows as natural as possible, unless the client asks. I'm not gonna really make them, you know. I'm just gonna get, you know, the excess hair. And make sure when you're using the razor, you shave against the grain. I use Dorcos for the hairlines. Use a more expensive, better quality razor for beards and goatees, like the Personas. Those are my favorite ones. And, you know, I'm pulling the skin, going against the grain. Right here, his hair grows inward, so you got to go against the grain. So you have to go the opposite direction with it. And you know, a lot of times if the hair is not too coarse or, you know, too thick or whatever, I don't use a lot of, you know, shave gel on the hairline. But I always use shave gel on the beard, on the mustache, on the goatee, very sensitive areas, the face, way more coarse hair on the face. So I always use shave gel or shave cream on the face. On the hairline, you can get away with it sometimes, like I'm doing here. So the back, you know, this was a client request. When you do the back like this, you do have to get cosmetic. You do have to push the back, you know, the neckline up a little bit on the sides like this. But, you know, this was a client request, and it's actually a dope look. It came out dope. I wouldn't recommend it. You know, I wouldn't start off this way, because a lot of people don't like, you know, too much cosmetic look. But this client requested it, and it came out dope. So he wanted a hard part, and you know, I pull the hair away real tight. First I part it, then I pull the hair away real tight so I don't, you know, catch any of that. And make sure that you line it up on both sides of the part, on the top of the part and on the bottom of the part. That's what's gonna make it pop. That's what's gonna give it that nice defined detail. And you'll see, you try out yourself, you'll see the difference. Use the razor on the part, that makes it pop some more too. And try not to make the part too thick, unless the client asks. If the client asks you for a thick part, you gotta do it. So I think I used like Boogie's medium hold low shine paste right here. It's a dope product. Didn't use any like blow dry or anything like that. And I use a wide tooth comb to style the hair. Wide tooth combs work best in my opinion for this hairstyle. Clipper comb, you know, any wide tooth comb, pretty much. You can see what it's looking like. He likes it. He's gotten it more than once, so that tells me he likes it. He's gotten a lot of compliments. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe. Show the channel support. Show me you know you're interested in more content, because that pushes me. That really does motivate me to do more. Music by my cousin Tito. Go check